how to handle a low appraisal when a buyer is obtaining VA financing. To answer this question, we take a look at the contract itself and any exhibits to the contract, such as GAR F410 VA Loan Contingency Exhibit. Now, paragraph 11 is the amendatory clause. This is the appraisal language that we're looking for, and it's on page 2 of the exhibit. And it states, "It is expressly agreed that notwithstanding any other provision of this agreement, the buyer shall not incur any penalty by forfeiture of earnest money deposits or otherwise be obligated to complete the purchase of the property described herein if the agreement purchase price or costs exceeds the reasonable value of the property established by the Veteran Affairs. The buyer shall, however, have the privilege and option of proceeding with the consummation of this agreement without regard to the amount of the reasonable value established by VA. If buyer elects to complete the purchase at an amount in excess of the reasonable value established by the VA, buyer shall pay such excess amount in cash from a source which buyer agrees to disclose to VA, and which buyer represents will not be borrowed funds except as approved by the VA. If VA reasonable value of the property is less than the purchase price, seller may reduce the purchase price to an amount equal to the VA reasonable value, and the parties to the sale shall close at such lower purchase price with appropriate adjustments to the sales price. Buyer may propose an amendment to reduce the sales price using GAR Form F713, or they could simply pay the difference between the contract sales price and the appraised value at closing. The appraisal language that we reviewed also gives the buyer a clear right to terminate the agreement if the property does not appraise. Non-GAR contracts. Carefully review the terms of any non-GAR contract, such as any financing or appraisal language contained within the contract or attached exhibits. RE form users should note that the appraisal contingency is contained within the body of the contract itself and further detailed within any attached FHA or VA exhibits. Proactive steps can go a long way. Prepare a summary of comparable market sales, a list of any upgrades to the property, and any information that supports the contract sales price. Challenging an appraisal can oftentimes be pretty difficult. Consult with lender regarding a potential appraisal dispute process. It would be very important to have supporting sales comparables in such a case. If an appraisal is to be challenged, it's quite often that the contract would also need to be amended to extend the closing date and the buyer's appraisal and financing contingencies. So note that if an appraisal is being challenged, at the very least we may need to do an amendment to extend the closing date and quite possibly also the buyer's financing contingency time frame as well.